Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We've got my special guest here again, Masum from Labbayk. And what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to look at the greatest hits of Labbayk. And we're going to actually count down the top 10. And I'm going to mention each number. And then Masum here is going to actually say the name of the actual track. And inshallah talk about how he came up with the idea and a bit of the history and so forth. So, and his feelings about it. So let's get cracking. Number 10 is your recent track, Ya Hanana.
So Ya Hanana is actually is a Arabic qasida written by Habib Shaykh. It's a qasida, it's a poem in praise of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it's about the coming of the Prophet sallam into this world, and what a bliss he is to this world, to this ummah, but to all creation. So beautiful qasida. It's still our new album, the Remembrance album, which we released just under 2 years ago.
By the way, how did you come up with the idea of the melody? And so you said the qasida, was it you mentioned you had others doing it and then you kind of came up with the concept?
Yeah, it's just a well-established melody, very, very famous across the world. So further, he actually helped us develop it in terms of some of the harmonies in there, but he actually helped with that particular one. You might hear like the kind of bassy kind of sounds. So that's about all his input that he said, okay, do it this way, put that in there.
Vocal production as well, mashallah. Okay, so let's check out this track, number 10, Ya Hanana.
Ya Hanana, 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 Ya Hanana.
To number 9 is Dunya Ki Ay Mustafar. Is it Mustafar? Musafir. So
Dunya Ki Mustafir is an Urdu Nasheed. Again, it's a really well-established Nasheed, written by, I can't remember the name 100%, but it's a very famous Qasid, Urdu Nat. And it's a Nasheed about death, reminding us of death. That this is a temporary abode, we're going to leave this world. We don't want to take any one of the possessions with us. These big buildings we're building, for example, we're not going to take that with us. These are all going to go away one day. So it's an issue on the reminder of death.
So this track, so the meaning here is that I know dunya means world, musafir is travel?
Yes.
Right? So is it kind of like we have to see the world? I guess I hear Sheikh saying this often. We should actually see the world as us being travelers, temporarily coming in. Is it that kind of?
It's precisely it. So it's precisely it, that we are merely travelers in this world, and our destination is the grave. That is the literal translation of the sheep. Dunya ke musafir, manzil teri qabr hai. Manzil as in your destination is the grave.
Yeah, and what made you kind of pick that track? Was this something really has impacted you? Something that
certainly. I mean, but I've lost loved ones over the years. My maternal grandfather, maternal grandmother. More recently, my father, Allah, who passed away just over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
So, oh my God!
But the inspiration was obviously losing loved ones. My uncle, for example, my maternal grandfather, maternal grandmother, and my paternal aunt as well. They were the inspiration behind all that nasheed and the piece that I should.
Beautiful to kind of understand why you picked that particular nasheed and why it hit home. So check out this track.
दुनिया के मुसाफिर मंजिल तेरी कब्र है तय कर रहा है जो तू 2 दिन का ये सफर है.
Number 8 is Allah is calling you.
So Allah is calling you is actually written by a sister in the UK. She goes by the name of Qudsiya. She sent this to us. She sent the original title of Allah is waiting for you. But subhanAllah, there's a story behind this. So when we send the lyrics to 4 ulama, I've sent to 2 of my teachers, well, technically 3 of my teachers, and then one of the ulamas from America. And of the 4, one of them pinpointed, he said he actually printed out the lyrics. It says Allah waiting for you. Printed out with a red pen, circled waiting, and made a note. He annotated, he said, Allah is not in need of waiting. And it really hit me. When I read that, I thought, I did not think of that. I did not think of it that way at all. I thought Allah is waiting for you to change your life. Allah is waiting. No, Allah is not in need of waiting. So Allah, then we actually changed the lyrics. We said, Allah is calling you to go back to Him, calling you to go back to being an obedient servant. And that's the inspiration behind that track. So and the melody, I came up with the melody following the sisters, the lyric that she sent over.
So in that sense, so that Nasheed, is it saying to us that we should like maybe sometimes change our behavior that is more pleasing to Allah, and Allah is calling us?
Indeed.
So like, how did you like get the lyrics and make sure it matched up with the melody? Did you have to change some of the lyrics to kind of? Okay.
We did have to change it. We did have to change the lyrics. And again, this is purely because of that ulama, that council that we have, where ulama check our lyrics and they advise. They'll tell us, if don't use that word. This is perhaps you can use a different word for this. And then that's because of that process. SubhanAllah, there's so much blessing in this process. By doing that, we are obviously we are being accountable. Making sure our content is Sharia compliant. Not just the lyrics, but also the content that actually output as well, the final output. And there's a blessing in there. There's lots of.
You got a big vetting process. This is like, when you cut for halal meat, it's like that. SubhanAllah. It's Are you allowed to mention some of the people, or is it you don't want to mention?
Well, they're all published. They'll be on our website. We've actually mentioned the ulama over the years. We've checked our lyrics. So one is Sheikh Dr. Hussein Ahmed. We have Mufti Amir Bulkikar. We have Sheikh Sulaiman Ghani. We have Imam Tahir Anwar from America. We have Sheikh
Sulaiman Ghani sounds famous, actually.
He's very well known in the UK.
I think I've seen some of his stuff or heard some of his speeches.
Even other ulama as well. They're really well known in their own rights. She's used many other ulama, Zubair Ahmed, for example, and then he used Sheikh Mahmoud Hassan from Bangladesh. So I think for the Mustafa track, the Mustafa one that we've actually used Sheikh Mahmoud Hassan to just check the lyrics. Because I wrote it again, follow those lyrics actually wrote. I just need to check that it's Sharia compliant.
Okay, so let's check out this track. Allah is calling you.
Allah is calling you. Allah is calling you to say His name. Allah is calling you to come home again. Allah is calling you.
Number 7 is Imagine a Day.
Imagine a Day is a nasheed which we recorded with a good friend of ours. So this is actually featured in Hassan's charity collaboration album, which we released in the year 2010. So technically our second album. And we worked with the brother Muhammad Islam. He actually helped us in this nasheed. He wrote it for us. He actually wrote it within about under half an hour, if I'm setting it correct. The melody, he gave us the melody. We worked to the melody. and then I helped develop the melody as well with him, but primarily his melody, his lyrics. And then it's really, it's a reminder of the Day of Judgment. That's what the session is about.
So imagine the Day of Judgment.
Yeah, imagine the Day of Judgment and atonement that awaits us. And it's just making us reflect on the hereafter, the Nasheed, to reflect on to give the what's to come, the Day of King, the Day of Judgment.
MashaAllah. Okay, let's check out this track, Imagine a Day. I guess imagine the Day of Judgment. Subhanallah.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
Number 6 is Kasida Barda. I probably butchered the name and track, but fill us in, Masum.
So Qasida Burda is the famous poem. It's called the Poem of the Scarf or Poem of the Shawl. And it's a very famous qasida. It's quite lengthy actually. So what we've done is only sung like a small portion of the whole poem. There are 10 chapters to the poem. We didn't even do one full chapter. I think we just did a portion. So you can imagine how long length the poem is. There is a story behind the poem, and you can go read it up on it online. Beautiful poem in praise of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he's actually, to this date, he is memorized by children and is recited. And I've witnessed it firsthand myself when I visited South India, where this is the case, where young children memorize it, they sing it from memory. That absolutely is great to see that. So this, in fact, what you're about to hear is inspired by the melody from South India, from Kerala. It's the melody they use when they recite the psalm.
Amazing, beautiful to hear. Okay, let's check out this track.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم.
Number 5, which I really like, Mustafa.
So Mustafa is a Bangla Nasheed that Alhamdulillah wrote, but the melody is not mine. I didn't come up with the melody. The melody is actually a friend of mine. His name is Maulana Kasidat from Leicester.
Another famous Nasheed is, right?
Yes, mashallah. He's very, very well known.
And does he perform that track? Because I've heard it. Well, he sings that. But I think I've seen him perform it. It would
with the verses, and there's lots of versions of it, but he's the original. As far as I'm aware, he's the original that came up with the melody and with the lyrics.
Yeah, I really like that.
That done various different versions of it. But then I asked him, can I borrow your melody? I really like it. I want to make a Bangla and English version of it. And he said, go for it. He said, yeah, he's absolutely fine with it. So then I wrote the lyrics. I checked it with some ulama, and then I went to the recording studio and just recorded them and released it as a single. I didn't wait for the album; just released it. So
you could
for a couple of years back. Sort of wait, basically. It's one where I sang with passion and praise of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I wanted to get it out there, and that's back and get that in.
So is it about leadership, being a leader, our Prophet?
So it's got there's 3 verses in there. So the first verse is Sayyidun Awwalin, Sayyidun Akhirin, leader of the former, leader of the latter. So I mean, until the end of time, he is the leader of all creation. And then later on, the second verse would start with Sayyidul Anbiya, Sayyidul Mursaleen, Sayyidul Anbiya, like leader of all the prophets, Sayyidul Mursaleen. And then and then he goes on to the lyrics. And what I've tried to do is try to keep the Bangla and English as closely aligned as possible. The meaning is slightly different, but I tried to keep it aligned the best I could. So when you hear both versions in the album, the Mustafa, the Bangla one that you hear, is actually a bonus track. The other one is called The Chosen One. And that's the English variant of the English version of Mustafa.
Mashallah. Really, really, really love this track. So have a listen.
Mustafa, 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 Mustafa.
Number 4, I'll let you pronounce number 4 because I'm sure I'm going to do a terrible job. I think it's Kaib Kafani Ilmu Rabbi or something.
You did very good there, mashallah. It's Qad kafani ilmu rabbi. My Lord's knowledge suffices me. It's a poem based on a poem, very famous poem, recited across the world, and more specifically in the Yemen area, Yemen, Hadramaut, that area. A lot of the scholars, the pious people there, they recite this poem, and it's very profound. Very profound. It's written by Imam al-Haddad, rahimahullah, and it's this one where you could recite and tears would flow from your eyes just by knowing the meaning, what he's actually trying to portray. And it's beautiful qasida. So that was our inspiration behind it, and then I recorded it. I felt I needed to record it. So I recorded it, and there are covers out there now. Other people have done it as well, and we've copied from other people ourselves on that particular. It's a well-established melody. But yeah, we added our own twists to it. We added some harmonies and whatnot to it.
What's the meaning of this particular Nasheed? What is it about?
قد كفاني علم ربي. So my Lord's knowledge suffices me, in the sense that Allah's knowledge of what is to come, because when we believe in predestination, we believe in the decree, we believe in qadr. So we believe that whatever Allah has ordained for us will come to pass.
Okay.
And therefore,
in terms of that knowledge, okay.
That knowledge. So that's what that means. قد كفاني علم ربي means so that's my Lord's knowledge has sufficed me. I'm content with whatever Allah has ordained for me. I'm content with whatever Allah has dictated for me.
It's kind of getting to that level of, iman. Really, it's
It's a very spiritual fact. It is a very spiritual fact.
Mashallah, mashallah, beautiful. So have a listen.
فالهنا والبسط حالي وشعاري ودثاري قد كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري فدعائي وابتهالي شاهد لي بافتقاري قد كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري فدعائي
So number 3 is Ya Rabbi bil Mustafa.
Ya Rabbi bil Mustafa, just like Qasida Burda, it's actually written, it's from the Burda, written by Imam al-Busiri, rahimahullah. And as I said, there's always a story behind it. With what we done with Ya Rabbi bil Mustafa, it's my own melody. I've just come up with a melody. I remember back in 2011 or 2012, and I just went and recorded it. But no, I needed to record this. And it's already established Qasida, so you checked it on a Monday, they all okayed it. And then and then I just put some portions in there, the first verse being Muhammad and Savior, going anywhere, and the rest of it. So it's, this features in our third album, The Greatest Gift.
And what's this Nasheed about? What is it?
It's just about the Prophet ﷺ. So it's just praising the most noble of Islam. Purely just praising Allah.
Alhamdulillah, hey, that's more than enough. Subhanallah. And it's a massive, 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 massive track. So have a listen.
يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم.
Number two, which I'm sure all our viewers know, is Rabbana, which could easily be number one in anyone else's Nasheed charts, but it's number two for you. So, fill us in.
For Rabbana, so the inspiration came to me. The melody really well established. It's like in the subcontinent. It's sung in Bangla, it's sung in Urdu. I think the origin is actually Urdu. I think for me, I just felt that there was a need for something in English without that praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's almost like a dua, just asking Allah, oh Allah, for, oh my Lord, I raise my hands, supplicating love to you. Something like that, where it's asking Allah directly for something. And I remember when I was writing it, I had the melody in mind. It was just writing, making sure that he had a flow. He had a flow to it, and in Allah, it's just praising Allah, but it's also asking Allah for something. And that's the intention behind that track. Just for a variation, I've added Bangla at the end. I wish I just wrote and put in the sheet. But there wasn't one in Bangla for Rabbana. That's like immediately at that time. There wasn't one that I knew of, so I thought maybe put the Bangla in there too.
You can't help it, right?
I couldn't help it. I'm looking for something in there just to make it a bit different. And then you have four verses in English, the fifth one being Bangla.
So interesting. Like, this is such a massive, massive track for you. Do you think what do you think? I have my own ideas what makes this track so good and so popular. Do you think it's part of, like you said, making dua to Allah? It's the most, I think sheikhs have said it, when we make dua from the Quran, it comes, Rabb is the most common word you use when you make dua, and the duas we read from the Quran are for Rabb. So I think that's one. I think the other for me is what you talked about, the flow that makes the track so powerful and so popular.
Absolutely. And it's even like the previously we talked about Qad Kafani Murabi and how he progresses, how you develop the track, the poetry develops. Similar way, which is that experience for me where I just want to develop in it. May have that flow. So then, it's praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but then asking Allah for something as well. And then, and a reminder to myself, and first of all, not this.
Mashallah. So have a listen to this big track that we all know. Rabbana.
ربنا يا ربنا 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 ربنا يا ربنا.
Number one is no surprise, is Allahu, which has 70 odd million views on YouTube on the Masum 7 channel, and it has many millions of views on your channel and millions of listens to Spotify. I think this is the biggest Nasheed vocal only track in the world, actually. Yeah, I know you mentioned some of it came to you as inspiration in South Asia, in India, was it?
South Indian, Kerala. Kerala actually is, my brother told me that, he said Kerala actually stands for Khairullah in Arabic.
Really? Wow, mashallah.
But Kerala, when I visited Kerala in 2009, the inspiration behind the melody came from there, because I was sitting there in that majlis with the orphanage in front of me, and they were singing beautiful qasidas. And at that point, when they asked me to just do something, I was like, what do I do? And then that came to me. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And on the spot, that melody came to me. Allahu, Allahu, Allah. So it just came to me. And then we just developed. When I came back to the UK, we developed the track. We put different languages in there. But I used the Nasheed, he really helped me develop this track. He was just come from Germany. These two brothers, without the help, I don't think I could have made that track.
Like, that track is so popular. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's so crazy popular. You hear it so much everywhere. Did you know that melody was really special? Did you feel it?
SubhanAllah. I mean, for me, I felt it just going back, just reminiscing really back to 2009. I felt it then. But I knew that, that there's something about this melody, and it's calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's one where you can easily put some lines in there praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you just go. You would just go. It doesn't matter what you thought, but as long as it's praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would go in there, any languages. And that's what it was really for us. And I guess, one of the amazing things is, subhanAllah, I was actually contacted by a mutual friend, I'm sure you must have heard of this artist from Saudi Arabia called Muhammad al-Nasheed.
Oh, God, of course.
So, Brother Muhammad al-Nasheed, he contacted, via a mutual friend, he contacted me for permission to use that melody to for his own version. And subhanAllah, when I heard, I was my mind was like, wow, this is something else. This sounds better than Bob. That the way of the tears, that's one. When I met him in real life in UK, such a humble person. That's the amazing question.
Amazing.
But yeah,
because he's in our top 10 the biggest Nasheed artists. I think he's number 3 or something, number 4 in the whole world. And again, Masum 7, he's quite popular on Masum 7. So yeah. What made you did you approach Masum 7, or did they approach you, or how?
Interesting to be honest. I wasn't actually aware he's been up on Masum 7 for some time. I found out
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Later. So yes, but alhamdulillah, we thank for the brothers behind it, and for the efforts. They done a good job on the video, mashallah. And yeah, you definitely went with the Nasheed word.
Mashallah, amazing. So let's listen to the number 1 biggest Nasheed song in the world. Allahu.
Allahu, 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 Allah, Allahu, Allahu, Allahu,
So, again, thank you very much for your time, Masum, for going through your top 10 biggest tracks. I don't know, I think some of those tracks, you could have so much more of those tracks in another shot. Maybe in the future we can have you for that. So thank you very much.
Wassalamu
Assalamu alaikum.